Throughout this motion, my brother did not mention the role of the state government. You and me, as a former governor, I wasn't. You know, over 500 million, the least, is paid to some state governors for what they call a security board. Senator Dixon said that's not true. I have governors' friends. Mr. President, my argument, it is not whether 500 million is for a security board, but I know as a matter of fact, as a matter of institution, that every state government or governor has what he calls security board. I'm not sure about the amount. The issue is, what does that security board represent? Mr. President, you're a governor. I want governors here. I want you, sir. I want governors who are here. What does that security board represent? And why is it every time there are security issues, nobody mentions as the role of the governors? Why is the role of the governor? What are they supposed to be doing with the security board? Even though maybe that is the way of thinking. But I'm concerned, Mr. President, that every time we do these things, almost on a need basis, no mention of what a governor could do or can do. I know that chief security officers of their state, the Constitution says so. Governors are the chief security officers of that state. The controlling apparatus, of course, is in Abuja, but what is the role? We need to do that. And when we do that, then we need to evaluate and find a balancing act. What a state governor should do, what the president should do, what the chief of army staff should do, what the inspector general of police should do, and so on and so forth. And that is my concern. But this is a beautiful motion, and we'll commensurate with them, Mr. President.
Thank you. Well, I won't post, but on what the governors are doing with security votes, I think when you will become a governor, you will find out. That's number one. When you become a governor, you will find out what they do with the security votes. That's the first one. Secondly, Senator Alero will tell you that the amount of, how do I call it? The amount of attempts at insecurity that you stop or you void are more than the ones that come to the public. And then those ones are never reported. So sometimes the security votes will go to even stop the criminals in their tracks before they carry out their nefarious acts. But those ones are never reported because it's only bad news that is good news. The press can never report anything that is very good. But it is true that the state governments have a role to play and that they cannot hand over security to the federal government alone. And coincidentally, even the state government, security is everybody's business. If we need to be secured, every Nigerian must be part of maintenance of security, peace and harmony in each part of the federation. So I think it's a good motion. But DSP, before you say anything, Senator Danduse wanted to say what? Your motion?
Yes.
Do you have copies of the motion?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so proceed to move the motion.
The Senate, cognizant of the fact the sections 33 and 41 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, provide that every person has the right to life and no one shall intentionally be deprived of his or her life. Also note that Section 41 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, provides that every citizen of Nigeria is entitled to move freely throughout Nigeria and to reside in any part therein. The Senate alarmed that suspected herders armed with dangerous weapons during the late hours of Wednesday to early hours of Thursday, 11 December 2024, invaded community of Sansani, Kalindi, Powishi, Laushi, Daji, villages, Kalme district in Biliri local government senatorial district of Gombe South, on motorbikes, attacked and killed several residents, including a cleric, and also burned down residential houses, large foodstuffs, livestock, and many scores were displaced. Worried that such a development is threatening the peace and security in the area and neighboring states, such as Taraba, Bauchi, Adama state, and had negatively impacted food sufficiency and major economic activities. Aware that the primary duty and obligation of government is to ensure the protection of lives and properties in every Nigerian, the Senate resolved, therefore, to observe 1 minute silence in honor of the deceased constituents. 2, urge the Inspector General of Police, Chief of Army Staff, and the Director General of DSS to investigate, arrest, and prosecute these criminal gangs to serve as a deterrent for the future. Also, urge the IGP of Police and Chief of Army Staff to urgently establish police and military joint task force in Biliri local government area to put a stop of these incessant killings. Urge the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, National Emergency, and Northeast Development Commission to provide relief materials to the victims to cushion the effects of these unwarranted attacks. And mandate the Senate Committees on Legislative Compliance, Medoki, mandate the Senate Committees on Legislative Compliance, Police Affairs, and National Security and Intelligence to ensure compliance to provide solutions to. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President.